Hey everyone, Kelly here. I wanted to create this quick video to show you what I've been working on and kind of get some feedback from you guys as far as my field experience project. I have three objectives for this project, one of them being to create a district website for the library staff of all of our important resources as far as our collection and our curriculum and things like that. My other action step or goal was to create a curriculum map for all of our lessons and what we teach in our library class each week. And then last but not least, create a district web page, which I'll show you here. The reason why I'm creating a video for this instead of just linking, which I will include the link, is because all of the documents that I have embedded in this web page are created with my district email, and they are hosted in a district Google Drive, a team drive. So I'm not quite sure. I'm figuring out how I can open it up so you guys can see the documents, because when I link it right now, it's going to say that you don't have access. So it's kind of a workaround I'm working on. So for in the meantime, I just thought I'd create a video so you can actually see what's included in this website. So I use Google Sites, and then I also use Adobe Spark because I love Google Sites and working with it. It's super easy. However, I'd like to be more creative, and you're kind of limited. So if you see these cool fonts and things like that, they're actually images that I used in Adobe Spark, and then I copied and put into my Google site. So a little bit of smashing with the different programs here to get it to look like how I want. But so far I'm pretty happy with it, and I'd love to hear some feedback from you. So the website is broken down into different themes or topics. So I start with staff documents, then there's collection management, curriculum, and then there is classroom resources and library websites. So I'm going to try and go through them kind of quickly because there is a lot and I don't want to make you have to watch too long of a video. So under staff documents, I start with the staff guidebook. This is kind of a handbook that I create at the beginning of the school year that has a whole bunch of important information as far as contact information, dates of meetings, when to spend budget by, our goals, and just expectations for the school year. All of these sites or documents are linked directly or embedded directly into the Google site, so that way people don't have to click a link and click a link and click a link to find and read something. It's just there for people to use, and then they can also open it into a new tab or window by clicking over here. So staff documents has the guidebook, has contact information. It has a calendar and schedule for almost anything you can use or need. We have our district calendar for the whole school. We have our professional learning calendar. We teach on a rotating cycle, so what classes we'll see and when. We have our calendar for when grades are due, and then we have just our daily schedules of each of the librarians in case we need to contact them. We know what they're teaching or where they're at. So that's, and then there's professional development as well. The professional development page is pretty bare right now, but I'm hoping to grow it. Just resources to grow as librarians and as a team. So we have right now just the Future Ready Librarian Framework and then the National School Library Standards. So these are two things that we've been working on as a group for the past year. So staff documents overall is just kind of basic information about our programming and things that the library team might need to reference. The next part of the page is collection management, and this one has the most amount of content under this umbrella theme. And this is something I see people going to a lot. It's just how we manage our collections on a day-to-day basis. So things like our catalog, TLC is what we use to check out books, and our reports for overdue books and things like that. They're all linked directly, so when you click on one, it will open to a new window to what you need. Selection guidelines and deselection guidelines are our policies for adding materials into the library and getting rid of materials. These are Google Docs, again, that were created and just give an outline of what we are looking for as we add things into our collections, just expectations, policies, and things like that. And then the deselection is the opposite. It's what we look at when we get rid of things and kind of the step-by-step directions of what the expectations are of how to get rid of materials. We also have this cool weeding calendar, so when you are looking at specifically, oh, this year ends in 9, this year I need to be weeding my 400 section, my biographies, and any miscellaneous items I have in the library, so that way you're not stuck on weeding everything every year, you're just focusing on certain parts. Also, we have central processing. We have someone who does all of our processing of new library materials for us, but there are times when we have to do things, so just the procedures of how to use central processing in our district. We have a media routing slip. This is the permission form to approve our purchases. Parent letters, rather than having everyone have their own letter for a damaged book or a lost book, there are templates here for people to use. as well as some other parent letters that we use throughout the school year. There is a self-checkout. We don't actually use it technically. We just have a paper and clipboard out for students to use. But if they need to check out paper and we're not here, here's the form to use. Junior Library Assistant is a new program I started. A lot of us have lost our library assistants, so we're on our own. So this is just a program to get kids kind of in and kind of work as a job. So there's an application, there's a sign in and out sheet, expectations, and even a little badge for people to print out for their students to wear as they work. Book challenges, so in case there's a parent who's not happy with something you have in your collection, here are the action steps of how to go about dealing with that issue. Book fair, if you run your own book fair, which most of us do in our district, the expectations, a volunteer application, some tips for them, and sign up for parents that are helping, or classrooms that are helping and going and see. Genreification, if you plan on genrifying your fiction section, which is a lot of our librarians are doing, here's kind of our expectations and a poster to kind of help guide your students. And then last but not least, there is the Birthday Book Club fundraiser materials here if you have time to do that. So this is all about managing our collection and kind of like the daily task of a librarian. The next part of this website is the curriculum page, and this is my second objective for this field experience project, was to create curriculum maps and lesson plans for the team to use through our instruction. We teach 7 classes a day, 5 days a week, so we are always teaching classroom content. So I wanted to make sure it's streamlined and everyone's kind of doing the same thing. So I'm going to skip down to curriculum maps first. These are smaller things in the website. Because they're such a big document and the way it works, they aren't really visually appealing here. So the intent of this is to actually open it into a new window. This is something I'm finalizing over spring break. I just need to add the standards in for each of the weeks that we teach. So we use the AASL standards, ELA standards, and ISTE standards. We're only assessing the AASL, but using all to kind of advocate for what we do. So besides the standards, each week is outlined by the topic we teach, a read aloud or video link, lesson resources, vocabulary that we use, and then if needed or if it is applicable, we have enrichment activities and the assessment for the activity that we're working on. So there's one of these for each of the different grade levels that we teach in the curriculum maps. And then all of them are hyperlinked with different activities, as you kind of saw. So if I go into, for example, 3rd grade, what we're working on right now in 3rd quarter, I know that we're going to do an Exploring Ancient Civilizations. So if I click on this link specifically, I can then get to the video or the packet that I'm working on for that activity. So that is all under the curriculum page, under curriculum maps. Standards is just a brief document saying these are the standards that we use and outlined by what quarter we teach in. So if I go to kindergarten, I can see that in 4th quarter, I'm going to focus on engage because it's blue, and specifically looking at can they apply information responsibly, and then I'm going to go over to inquire, can they generate products, so that's kind of outlined specifically of what I'm going to teach and assess in that quarter as well. So then going back to the lesson plans, this is for 4th quarter is the only one done. Hopefully I'll get others done as we go, but these are our documents that outline every single cycle week for 4th quarter this year. Of all the lessons week by week for the team to use. So here's an example of one of the lesson plans I worked on creating. I use Google Slides for this. And so it just has what we're reading, what the objective of the lesson is, what our lesson topic is, and then just a note about our checkout. So lesson plan, just kind of outline of what we're doing, link to activities, copies to make, and then additional activities or resources we may need. So this is kind of a big piece that I see the team using on a daily basis is the lesson plans, and each grade looks exactly the same, just different activities based on what they're working on. And then these are something we started creating, just an overview of each quarter. So this document just helps us see big picture for the quarter and what we're working on the whole entire time. So there again, I created one of these for each of the different grade levels. So if I go into open one, and again, I made them small because there's so many, I didn't want to make them all huge on the web page. So the overview document has the standards that we are going to be teaching and assessing. a teacher checklist of what has to happen during that quarter as far as instruction. We need to complete these things, and then statements for students. These, I can do this by the end of the quarter. So there's a ton in curriculum, and it gets pretty in depth. And part of the reason why I created this website is because this was all in Google Drive in a folder and a folder and a folder. And it's really hard to track down what you're looking for. So by having the lesson plans and the hyperlinks where you need them, and same with the curriculum maps, everything's in one place, and then it's on this website, so it's easier to find. So this is where I've been spending a lot of my time on this project, is the curriculum side. Under the More section, there's 2 more pieces: classroom resources and library website. Under classroom resources, these are just things to help instruction a little bit better. There's a poster for different expectations in the library that I've created and shared with the team. For checkout, reading, workstation, things like that. There are also a behavior management game that I use with students that I've shared with the team. So when students come, they can earn 3 letters for being safe, respectful, and responsible. And then once they fill in something, we do that activity in library class. So just something to help manage behaviors a little bit. Choice boards help a lot with personalized learning, or when students are finished with work. Definitely letting kids choose activities to work on. So there's a couple of choice boards, different grades. There's a board I have in the library called Now I'm Through What I Do, a list of activities and things that they could work on. And then there's some primary choice boards and STEAM centers and things for students to complete when they're finished with work or extra time. Under classroom resources, there's also back to school things. So starting the school year, either a presentation on expectations or a learning survey to get to know the students, kind of get to know them, and then some just fun activities for back to school. And then the last thing in there is a guest teacher. So if someone would have a sub, here's some quick and easy lesson plans. I think there's about 12 different things here for teachers to use. It's taken a while to load because there's so many different activities, but these are just quick worksheets, things that you can do in case of an emergency and if you are gone. So that's all under the More or Classroom Resources tab over here. Part of the website is the library websites, which if you click on, you can see there's a link to each elementary school's library webpage and the district library webpage. This was the 3rd objective for my project, is to create something for patrons to use that has information that they would need. So we'll start with a school website. So this is my Hillside School website, and this is actually linked to the students' iPads. So they have access to this all the time. So it's broken down into 3 different parts: books, databases, websites, and digital citizenship. So if a student needs to look up books, they have their search for books, they have our ebooks. All the resources are here. Back to home, databases. Students have access to all of our different databases, quick and easy here. And like I said, this is an app on their iPad, so they can easily access important websites that we use as well, all here for students. And the other big piece was actually the district webpage. So this is linked on individual school websites, and it just got pushed out not too long ago. So our district webpage is really intended for parents or anyone interested in learning about our program. It talks about our mission and philosophy, can't talk. And then it goes into our guidelines. So again, you saw these on our staff webpage, but this is a little bit of just a description for parents. Here's how long students can check out. Here's our checkout calendars, interlibrary loan. We do have a description of our lost and damaged materials policies, gifts and donation policies, so if someone wants to donate materials. And then we do have our selection and deselection guidelines posted for parents to read in case they're interested in how we select things. We have our Search Our Library link to access our digital collection and our print collection. We have a link just to standards where we talk about how we use the ASL standards. So if they want to learn more, they can go here. And then we have our staff information. So the elementary school library webpage and this library webpage are a lot more brief, just because it's for patrons, and it won't be used as much, but it's good to have that information out there. So this website that I've created is a huge database of all of our things, and I didn't mean to take this long, but like I said, there's a lot to do. So let me know what you think, and I will try and work on getting it finished up. Stop my